Hello and welcome to the show and our wrap-up of round one of the Zestino Tyres WA Rally Championship. And of course, Glenn, we're talking about the Make Smoking History Forest Rally, and what a great way to get our championship off.
Oh, absolutely. You know, the best event here in Western Australia, the biggest event, and what a great way to start the season. There was just under 40 entries, solid number of club and cup competitors there as well. It's a great way to start the championship.
It is, mate, and of course it all kicked off with the Trade Hire Bustleton stage. Friday night, good crowd out there. Pretty good start for most of the WA contenders. Ben Searcy, unfortunately though, he was probably the saddest of them all.
Oh, absolutely. You know, terrible way for Ben to start. His team looked great, his car looks great, and you know, Ben's obviously a past competitor on the tarmac, and he's converted his car to gravel this season. Years since he's driven on the gravel, but you know, he was looking to put in a solid start. Good first effort up, and then he's obviously suffered some electrical dramas, so not a great way to start the event for him.
Great runs from Tom Wild and his co-driver Matty Kirkhouse, Johnny O'Dowd and Tony Fever in the brand new R5. Pretty good runs.
Oh, most definitely. You know, great way to obviously kick off their campaign. John probably a little bit tentative on that first opening stage, which is the reverse of the way obviously they normally do it. But on the second one, he came out fighting, and you know he was actually very close there behind Tom. So yeah, great job.
And both of them did pretty good ARC times. Also the two-wheel drive battle, which we know will be a big one again in 2019. Vlad did a great job again, co-driver Damien McCullough, quickest on both of the runs.
Yeah, and to think that car was for sale on the off-season. I mean, he's probably glad it wasn't actually sold. And yeah, you know, he's in the top 6 on both runs of that stage, and yeah, brilliant job.
So Glenn, when we look at the standings after these two stages, Wild and Kirkhouse, O'Dowd and Fever, Oxley a great job for third, Vlad, as we said, the league two-wheel drive and fourth, Peter and Alison Flood, great to have them back, and fifth, Reynolds, Rando and Civil making up the top 8. And Glenn, Saturday morning out into the gravel, lots of 2 stages with a service in between, plenty of action for the crews, and very, very slippery.
Oh, absolutely. I think, you know, we thought Ben Carr, you know, one on the road might have been a disadvantage, but then there was obviously lots of dust out there, so very difficult for the crews to contend with that. Tom did a great job early on. You know, I think his lead was out to something like a minute 50 after the first bunch of stages, so very impressive.
Like we said, the event organisers had to go out to 3 minutes early because the dust was so bad, and we can see from the vision here, you know, it was pretty horrific in lots of places. So the second lot of 2 stages after that first service, Glenn, the stages in places new. Both John and Tom did excellent jobs. Tom, of course, leading all the way back in.
Yeah, absolutely. And Tom did a super job out there in the dust. Very, very difficult. Obviously, you have to have full commitment on your pace notes.
The dust, the last 2 stages were fine, but the 2 morning stages, they were terrible. The first one, particularly Healthway, had a couple of moments in the dust there. It was just horrendous for anyone behind car 1, I think. Yeah, and then they've lengthened the dust gap out to 3 minutes, and it doesn't seem to be an issue, but we're getting rid of a breeze now as well, so that's good. Hopefully it stays that way.
And Glenn, O'Dowd and Fever did a great job, mostly second quickest across all the stages, easing their way into the new car. No silly mistakes, obviously.
Yeah, like you say, no silly mistakes, easing his way into the car. I mean, it's all about getting confidence in there. Obviously, you know, he's last year's state champion, so he probably wanted to make a pretty solid start, and he's done that. He's done a very good job.
Over a minute gap back to the next team, so pretty comfortable. Reynolds and Stoltari, a great morning for them as well. Third outright. This guy is a very quick young driver, and he keeps proving just how quick he is.
Yeah, he's obviously getting quicker and quicker. He's obviously, you know, in that car, I think the first time last year, so he's doing a super job, and local boy, so I'm sure he's loving the nan-up stages.
So the top 8 at the midway service, Wild, Kirkhouse, O'Dowd and Fever, Reynolds and Stoltari, Pusey keeping out of trouble in fourth. And then the leading two-wheel drive, the husband and wife team of Alex and Lisa White, also keeping it clean, and fifth outright. McGuinness, Joss and Flood making up the top 8. Now Glenn, plenty of dramas for some of the front runners. In fact, the times are all over the shop with plenty of issues up and down the field. Steve Oxley had an electrical problem and a fire at the end of the folly stage. Luckily, he managed to put it out and still finish the day.
Yeah, tough start for Steve. You know, one of the faster guys, obviously in our championship. So not the way he wanted to start his year. Dylan King, another competitor there with a few dramas. He's had a really bad vibration in their car, and it seems to obviously have actually damaged the gearbox housing, which has obviously dropped him right down the order.
And when we looked at the leaderboard, of course, Raz Vlad was missing. He had a problem. Unfortunately for him, a puncture really early into the stage, had to stop and change.
Yeah, disappointing as well. You know, like it, you know, early on in the day to have something like that happen. But you know, as you know, like I mean, there's not many choices. You obviously have to stop and change it. So, ruins your day and not a good feeling. But yeah, he was still quick in the rest of the day as well.
Ultra quick. Well, Glenn, more of the same for the leading pair of Wild and Kirkhouse. The afternoon stages were good for them. Super fast and consistent.
Yeah, I mean, what an amazing performance. I mean, that, you know, especially in West Australian Championship, awesome, but in the ARC to be third outright is just phenomenal. I think even, I'll just check the stats here. Yeah, it was like 2 minutes 47 his lead in the WA Championship. Just shows you how dominant performance it's actually been. And yeah, it's in that car, that is a pretty impressive performance.
Super job for him and Matty. And of course, they had to pace note some new stages, so all round a really good job for day one.
Tom's done an absolutely sensational job, as you've said, and you know, hasn't put a foot wrong all day. I was lucky enough to go for a ride with him on the test, and he is driving that car exceptionally well. He hasn't been in it for a while, did 30 kilometres at the test, and it just has, you know, full confidence in it. And Maddie as well, like I mean, it's her first time in a four-wheel drive car going at that kind of pace, and to be third outright, they're obviously working pretty sensationally well together as a team.
And of course, Glenn, Tom's super happy with that result and very pleased that the organisers went to 3 minute gaps.
Absolutely. I mean, in the dust, it's not much fun, and then, you know, the organisers made the right choice, went for the 3 minute gaps, and then no issues all for the rest of the day. And what a great start to the season for him and the Max Motorsport boys.
It was a bit of dusty this morning, but the last 4 stages, no dust at all. So yeah, really nice. Loose, obviously. We haven't had rain down here for a long time, so it kind of helped me out because the cars are down a horsepower than what the other guys are. So the looser it is, the better for us because no one can get the traction and get the horsepower to the ground. So yeah, we were happy with that. And when the roads got swept this afternoon, we were still right up there on the pace, so it didn't make a huge difference.
Yeah, certainly a well-deserved win for the Wild Kirkhouse team and a great job for second place getters O'Dowd and Fever. What a fan. We've talked about him debuting that car, but this really is a pretty special run for him.
Oh, most definitely. You know, we've talked about it before that, you know, he probably had the biggest smile in the service park, and I think he does. And, you know, he's done a great job gaining confidence with every kilometre. So, you know, it's a brand new car. It's difficult when you're on the stages for the first time there, and he's done a really good job.
Easily second quickest stage by stage. Didn't put a foot wrong. The thing's back. All they have to do really is wash it, so he'd be pretty happy with the new jigger, I'd reckon.
He's obviously gained confidence with every kilometre in that car, and it's a great way for him to actually start the season as defending WA State champion.
I think the chasers might be a little bit worried. Third outright, what a fantastic job by Reynolds and co-driver Steltari. There was a lot of hassles out there because of the dust, because of the loose stages, because of the new stages, but they just stuck it out there, put some good times in and rewarded by third outright.
Absolutely. I think, you know, third fastest on a couple of the stages out there, and, you know, here's Cody, young guy. He hasn't got lots and lots of experience, but he's doing a superb job just to make no mistakes and be fast as well.
Fourth outright, Pusey and Pusey. How about these guys in the old legacy doing a fantastic job, 100% committed?
Yeah, I mean, it's great to see the old legacy out there. The sound of it, you know, it's iconic. It's great out there watching them. They're like doing a super job.
And Glenn, just quickly, a good day's work by the McGuinness and Wade crew. Getting quicker and quicker throughout the day. Fifth outright there, reward for that, so good work there. The two-wheel drive battle in WA has been a great one over the last few years. This event didn't disappoint. Lots of dramas up and down the two-wheel drive list, but a really good run for the Whites, and they took out Heat 1.
Yeah, like the rear-wheel drive Sylvia obviously is a spectator's favourite. Like it's always Rooster Tails coming out the back. You know, husband and wife team have done and the defending WA two-wheel drive champions have done a great job to kick off their season.
Yeah, a really good job, and seventh outright in the process for the Whites. So now the outright standings for Heat 1, Wild and Kirkhouse, O'Dowd and Fever, Reynolds and Steltari, Pusey and Pusey, as we said, great job in the legacy, McGuinness and Wade, Peter and Alison Flood, what a fantastic effort by them. Obviously the first two-wheel drive Whites, as we said, Rando and Scafidi, 8th outright. 8 stages made up the action for the Clubman runners, Glenn. 4 Clubman Cup Masters heading the field, and a great battle out front.
Yeah, Dean Cordes and Daniel Adams, great job. Big battle with the Rattenberries all day. The gap was, on the stages was 10 seconds here, 5 seconds there, so super battle all day. In the end, in favour of Cordes. Brilliant job.
Lance Stringer had a couple of great stage times as well. He'd take 3rd, with the defending Clubman Cup champions Graham and Kathy Miles taking 4th. Another great day for all these teams. 6 runners lining up for the Clubman Cup part of the event. Again, 8 tough stages for these teams. Plenty of battles up and down the list. But Glenn, it was all about Bayer in the XL. The number 44 car, he did a fantastic job. In fact, he was 28 seconds quicker on one stage alone, which was Alice, and that set him up for the win.
Yeah, certainly did, and I don't think, once 28 seconds on one stage, only had 8 stages to do, so that pretty much cemented his victory. But, Steve Vass was right up there as well, fastest on one of the stages. He was in the hunt, but yeah, like you said, Bayer was in control. And Rod Fowler in the beautifully presented Peugeot, threw his hat in the ring and was getting faster all the time. He's only just come back to the sport, so he'll be one to watch.